Hello everyone, this is Dr. Duaa Elhija presenting today a research that was conducted along with Dr. Abeer Asli on the relationship between morphology and reading accuracy among children in Israel. Starting talking about the background of reading acquisition in Arabic, which is actually challenging. It's a very challenging process for children, being affected by a few factors like the complexity of Arabic orthography, which slows reading acquisition in Arabic. This is according to Sayed Haddad, 2003. Another factor is the diglossic nature of Arabic. It seems to have a negative effect on reading acquisition due to the great linguistic distance between modern standard Arabic, the MSA, and spoken Arabic, the SA. The Arabic language share the same Semitic origin with these two forms of Arabic and sharing few similar words. Mostly also they differ on the words used, and they differ phonetically, morphology, or morphosyntactically and semantically. Modern Standard Arabic is learned formally at school. So the first graders who are exposed to Modern Standard Arabic function as bilinguals. And MSA is not the native language of any Arabic-speaking children. Moreover, as it is suggested by Abu Rabi'a 2000, the diglossia is an important factor, and this factor affects low levels of reading among Arab speakers. The linguistic distance, as mentioned, between the Standard Arabic and Modern Standard Arabic has influenced children acquisition of literacy skills, and also the low reading, as I also said. They also acquire a linguistic auditory system and an orthographic visual system, and it's different from the standard Arabic. So when they go to school, they acquire this new system from MSA, and this is not similar to SA at all. And this is according to Sayed Haddad 2003 as well. And then morphological complexity of Arabic. So morphological awareness in Arabic predicts early reading development. And this was proved to be true according to Taha and Sayed Haddad 2017. So the central role of derivational morphology was demonstrated in written Arabic word structure in this research done by Taha and Sayed Haddad 2017. Moreover, there are critical factors that affect reading development in second language. First, it's bilingualism, and also language proficiency in the native language, and the level of spoken language proficiency in L1 and L2. All these factors affect reading development in second language acquisition. Moreover, motivation is also important, and the degree of similarity or dissimilarity between the two languages. And good linguistic ability in the first language predicts similar ability in second language. And there is also the psycholinguistic factor, where Arab children acquire Hebrew better and faster than Hebrew children in general, because they acquire Arabic as a result, which is attributed to the difference between Arabic and Hebrew children motivation. So Arabic children have instrumental motivation to learn Hebrew as an essential tool for communication in a country in which Hebrew is the predominant language. And this was according to Asli Badarni and Likan 2018. This study investigates reading accuracy and speed performances among 4 experimental groups, and these groups are Arab monolinguals, Hebrew monolinguals, Arabic Hebrew sequential bilinguals, and Hebrew Arabic sequential bilinguals. So the children are sequential bilinguals who started learning their L2 at ages 3 to 4, that is during the kindergarten period. The goals of this study: first, it measures and compares fluency in reading performances in native and second language. It assesses the differences in spoken and standard language performances in Arabic among the 4 experimental groups that I've mentioned, and to also examine the morphological performance and how it influences reading in native and second language as well. Okay, moving to the methods now. So the participants were 200 participants, and they are monolinguals and bilinguals. They are first graders. Their ages are between 6 to 7 years old. The participants were recruited from 4 schools in the north of Israel, 2 monolingual schools and 2 bilingual schools. The teachers in the target programs used an identical curriculum provided by the Israeli Ministry of Education. All the schools are located in similar neighborhoods with the average middle-high socioeconomic status. All participants were of normal range IQ with no diagnosed learning disabilities, attention deficits or disorder, or language impairments or psychiatric disease or other behavioral disorders, and had normal or corrected vision and hearing. And the study was conducted at the beginning, middle, and end of the year. So that was 3 times. Moving to the research questions. The first research question is, how fluent are the children in their native and second language? The second one is, what are the differences in spoken and standard language performances in Arabic among the 4 experimental groups? And third was, how does morphological performances affect reading in native and second languages or languages? Okay, so here we have the 4 groups of participants. We have 50 Arabic speakers, monolinguals, 50 Hebrew speakers, monolinguals, 50 Arabic Hebrew bilingual speakers, 50 Hebrew Arabic bilingual speakers. That comes to the total of 200 participants. Okay, data analysis. So a series of one-way analyses of variance ANOVAs and the chi-square test for gender and socioeconomic status were performed to evaluate possible differences between the groups on the background measures, and no significant differences were found among the experimental groups in nonverbal IQ, gender, age, or socioeconomic status, and also parents' education. The measures. So the first thing is a general ability assessment that was assessed by the Ravens, according to the Ravens colored progressive matrices. And then we did a morphological abilities assessment by using 5 tasks on inflectional and derivational morphology. Part of the morphological tasks in Arabic language included MSA words, and the other part included SA words. The first task, morphological task, was the plural task, and this was done to check the inflectional morphology, and this domain was chosen in particular because of its linear nature, both in Hebrew and Arabic, but also because inflectional plural noun morphology is acquired and developed very early. So in this task, there were 20 pictures 10 representing singular and 10 were plural. So the child was given a sentence, of course there were broken plurals and regular ones. Same for Hebrew regular and irregular. So a sentence like, this is an elephant, there are many, and the child needs to continue the sentence. The task reliability was Cronbach alpha equals to 0.72. The second task is a noun adjective number agreement, and this task consists of 32 pictures, half representing singular nouns and the other half representing plural nouns. This task was identical, included identical items in both languages. So, for example, the child was given the sentence, there is a big toy, there are many toys, and they need to give the plural adjective. The task reliability was Cronbach alpha equals to 0.79. The third task is sentence completion task. So in this task, we based it on the Ravid and Sheets 2009 study, and it tests the ability to derive the activity from the agent form. The child was given a sentence like, this is a teacher, what does the teacher do? And with an expected response such as the teacher explains or teachers writes on a board. So for the past tense probe test, the children were shown a series of 10 picture pairs, where in the first picture, child is engaged in an activity. And in the second picture, the activity has been completed. So this is house builder. He's building a house. And in the second picture, the activity has been completed, and the children have to say something like, the house builder has built the house. And the task consists of verbs in most tenses in both languages. And they were divided between singular and plural verbs, between feminine and masculine nouns, and the reliability was Cronbach alpha equals to 0.74. The fourth task was an adjective producing task, and this was based on the task of Yagav 2001. So children were provided with 14 pictures representing different life situations. The items were shown to the participants one after the other, along with sentences that comment on the situation. So, for example, the child broke his hand. The hand is, and the child needs to say broken. The task reliability was Cronbach alpha equals to 0.69. The fifth task was morphological production task, and it was designed following Zilsberg's original task in 2005. It tests changes or transition between verbal patterns, which consists of 20 items, sentences accompanied by pictures, of course, and the current task contains 10 familiar sentences that are appropriate to early childhood, of course. So for example, my mother hugged Sarah and Sarah hugged my mother. In one word, we say my mother and Sarah, and they need to complete a sentence. Okay, so the reliability of this task was Cronbach alpha equals to 0.75. And the verbal patterns were in the past and present in both languages. The participants' performance on the morphological task is scored from 0 to 2 on the usage of the stem and suffix in inflectional tasks and or morphology, and root and pattern for the derivational. Okay, and then there was a reading assessment conducted. So the texts for reading assessment both in Arabic and Hebrew versions, were taken from the first grade curriculum, and the texts were unknown to the kids, but they know all the letters there, so the letters, everything on the page was familiar to them. The text contained critics as a phonetic guide for the child, and each text contained 40 words in Standard Arabic or Hebrew, respectively. The number of errors and the reading time were recorded, and the participants read the text, and of course in their L1, and bilinguals, they read 2 different texts, one in each language. And the quality and difficulty of the text were equivalent in both languages. We considered such factors as word frequency, orthographic complexity, age appropriateness, and linguistic characteristics of Hebrew and Arabic. And then modern Standard Arabic and spoken Arabic proficiency was assessed by vocabulary knowledge test, where subjects' familiarity with the 10 target words is determined. It is a broken word identification task. The task included 20 words, 10 MSA, 10 SA. All words were deemed appropriate for first grade pupils. The results. So the first question, research question, how fluent are the children in their native and second language, were analyzed between group differences using one-way ANOVA to examine the group influence on reading measures in native language here. So the following table shows the in comparison performances between monolinguals and bilinguals, showing the scores for accuracy and time. And here we can see the following. Hebrew-speaking monolinguals read accurately and faster than Arabic-speaking monolinguals, but they are worse and slower than Arabic-speaking bilinguals. And Hebrew-speaking monolinguals and Hebrew-speaking bilinguals. Here and here. So in other words, for reading accuracy here, we can say that Hebrew-speaking monolinguals did better than Arabic-speaking bilinguals. And Arabic-speaking bilinguals did better than Hebrew-speaking bilinguals. But Hebrew-speaking bilinguals did better than Arabic-speaking monolinguals. As for the reading time, the Arabic-speaking bilinguals here did better than Hebrew-speaking monolinguals, and Hebrew-speaking monolinguals did better than Hebrew-speaking bilinguals. Hebrew-speaking bilinguals did better than Arabic-speaking monolinguals. Results for reading in second language are presented here on this table, and this actually indicates the following. So the table indicates that mostly bilingual children read fluently or more fluently in their native language compared to their second language. Hebrew-speaking children reveal better fluent reading in their native language compared to their second language. And while Arabic-speaking children showed more balanced reading performance in both languages, here and here. Arabic-speaking children revealed significantly better reading performance, both in accuracy and time measures, in Hebrew language compared to Hebrew-speaking children performance in Arabic language. As for the second research question, what are the differences in spoken and standard language performances in Arabic among the 4 experimental groups? The results were analyzed between Group differences using one-way ANOVA to examine the differences spoken in standard language performances in Arabic among Arabic-speaking monolinguals, Hebrew-speaking bilinguals, and Arabic-speaking bilinguals. Here are the results. So here we can see the following. It was found that a significant difference between the groups of MSA performance as well as SA. So Arabic-speaking monolinguals performed similar to Arabic-speaking bilinguals, and both performed higher than Hebrew-speaking bilinguals in MSA. So in other words, Arabic-speaking monolinguals performed almost similar to Arabic-speaking bilinguals, but however, they did also, on top of that, they did better than Hebrew-speaking bilinguals. As for spoken Arabic or spoken language, Arabic-speaking monolinguals show similar performance like Arabic-speaking bilinguals, while they perform also higher or significantly higher than Hebrew-speaking bilinguals in spoken language. Okay, now table 5 shows the results for the third research question about morphological performance influences on reading in native and second language. And from this table, we can see that derivational and inflectional morphological performance influence reading accuracy in native language, while only derivational morphology influence reading time in native language. In second language, reading is influenced by derivational morphology, both in accuracy and time measures. To conclude, the Arabic language is more challenging to read because it's diglossic. The differences in performance on reading seem to be related not only to psycholinguistic factors such as linguistic complexity, but also to sociolinguistic factors, diglossia, for example. The findings also address the contribution of morphology to reading in L1 and L2, which is attributed to the rich morphological structure of the Semitic root-derived languages, Arabic and Hebrew. And finally, differing results for the two domains of morphology and the centrality of derivational morphology may be explained by the transparency of inflectional morphology, which is thought to be less complex than derivational morphology, especially in Semitic languages. Here are the references. Thank you very much for listening.